The opposition has come out swinging at the government's response to the Henry tax review.
The opposition leader Tony Abbott says the decision to slug the resources sector with a 40% tax on super profits will kill the mining boom. And for more, the Shadow Treasurer Joe Hockey joins us now from Sydney. Mr Hockey, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Michael.
Just how strongly will you fight this so-called super profits tax?
Well, we'll be consulting with the mining industry. We'll also be consulting with other stakeholders. But it's not real tax reform. Let's be very clear about this. Tax reform, when we undertook it, was about abolishing taxes and replacing it with a broad-based, simpler tax. Under the Labor Party, tax reform is introducing a new tax, one new tax, that is going to raise $9 billion a year. That's not tax reform, that's a tax grab.
Will you block this tax in the Senate?
Well, we'll wait and see the legislation, but I tell you what, we are deeply sceptical about all this. Australians need to be aware that this is about killing the goose that is laying the golden egg. This is about, in fact, relying on a tax that is going to actually ride with the commodity boom. But what happens when the commodity boom is over? What happens to the revenue? There will be none. And so what the government is doing is it's standing the federal budget on quicksand. You don't do that with a one-off boom. The government should be taking the money out of the mining boom and putting it aside for a rainy day in the same way we did, put it aside into the future fund. But no, they're going to spend it, and they're going to spend it on getting re-elected.
As you're well aware, other measures such as the rise in the super contribution levy and the cut in the corporate tax rate are dependent on this super profits tax seeing the light of day. So therefore, do you believe you'll be something of being politically snookered by if you oppose this profits tax, you kill those other measures?
Well, you know what? Those other measures aren't sustainable if suddenly the mining boom ends. I'd like Mr Rudd and Mr Swan to explain to the Australian people how they can sustain all of these other initiatives when in fact the mining boom does end, when those super profits aren't around in 5, 6, 7 years' time. Because as everyone who has ever studied the resources boom knows, is that when you have a boom in prices, you are going to have a massive increase in supply, particularly out of Brazil, Eastern Europe and Africa, and that supply is going to push down prices. China can go other places to get its supply, and all of a sudden the government doesn't have this $9 billion a year flow of revenue, but they've still got the lower company tax and all the other probably reckless spending that they've tied to. This is not sustainable. And this is a very bad way to frame a federal budget for the future.
The government argues quite strongly that existing royalties on mining simply haven't kept pace with the booming profits in the sector over the years. Do you disagree with that point of view?
Well, it's not real, because when you pay company tax, for every extra dollar you earn, you pay tax on it. Of course you do. So this is a nonsensical argument. The government said previously revenue didn't keep pace. Well, we had the money. We left them with at least $70 billion in the future fund. That came from the last mining boom. Of course, we left them with surplus budgets. They spent all of that. The money that the Rudd government has just spent were the proceeds from the last mining boom. Now they're about to spend all the proceeds from the current and next mining boom. What they're going to leave Australia with is a federal budget that is a shambles, because everything they are doing is all about the next election and spending money today. It's not about putting any money aside. And you know, for example, I'll give you this, Michael. When they increase the superannuation guarantee from 9% to 12%, that probably will be about $10 billion extra a year as a cost to small business. They've given small business a $200 million a year tax cut, and they've said small business is a winner. Small business isn't the winner out of this. Small business, every small business is an employer. Only 1/3 of small businesses are companies. So small business is actually going to be a massive loser out of this package, but when you can get through the government spin, they'll realise that.